Guys, if you can, please smash the like button and let's try and get to 1,000 likes within the next 24 hours. Big appreciation. So, in this next news story, a man who killed a serving police officer in a street fight was later linked to one of the UK's most feared drugs gangs. Timmy Donovan threw a piledriver punch which felled the police constable Neil Doyle, who was out having Christmas drinks with friends in Liverpool city centre. Donovan pulled in favours from local criminals to escape to Germany after Mr. Doyle died, but was later arrested and returned to the UK. Donovan and a football agent Andrew Taylor were cleared of murder but found guilty of killing Mr. Doyle. The two men were jailed. However, it emerged that while out of prison on licence, Donovan jumped back into Liverpool's criminal community, acquiring an EncroChat phone. As we know, those devices cost around about £1,500 per month, and they were used by professional criminals to sell drugs, supply firearms, and launder money. While police were able to link Donovan to a money laundering plot, they also discovered his connections to one of the UK's most dangerous and most ruthless drugs gangs. The crime firm was rooted in the Stockbridge village area of Huyton and used Thomas Cashman, who was an enforcer on the streets of Liverpool, and it was controlled by the Coggins brothers. The Huyton firm imported hundreds of tons of drugs into the UK. The Coggins brothers also discussed buying police intelligence reports from a corrupt individual to try and keep ahead of the law. Last year, it emerged that Vincent Coggins, who controlled the Huyton firm gang with his brother Francis, referred to Donovan as the cop killer. At the trial of Edward Jarvis, who worked for Coggins, it was heard how Donovan was used to mediate between the Huyton family and a rival crime outfit. Vincent Coggins had wrongly suspected that Brian Maxwell Jr. of being involved in a violent stash house raid where over £1 million worth of coke was stolen from the Huyton firm. Donovan liaised with the Maxwell family and told him that Brian Jr. had nothing to do with the raid and provided CCTV evidence which showed Brian at home at the time of the raid. Vincent Coggins, who was a feared individual, referred to Donovan as both cop killer and Timmy during conversations with other criminals. At one point, Donovan appeared to ask the Huyton firm to postpone their plans to target Brian Maxwell. Donovan also realised he was in the orbit of very dangerous criminals, saying he was reluctant to be pulled into a heavy situation. And he was also reminded, a member of the Huyton firm, that he was out of prison on licence and had to be careful. Coggins made it clear to Edward Jarvis and Paul Woodford that he wanted the criminals responsible for the stash house raid target with hand grenades. However, he was forced to postpone the attack due to increased police presence in the area. Paul Woodford was handed a disruption notice by police, which was an indicator that the authorities were aware of the Huyton firm's plans. Coggins also used Thomas Cashman to make inquiries in the area after the stash house raid. Coggins told his colleagues that referred to him as Tom Cash. 2 years later, Cashman would be the man who shot dead Olivia Pratt-Cobell, may she rest in peace, during a botched hit on the streets of Dovecot. Cashman, who was also linked to other shootings on Merseyside, was said to have been an entrusted enforcer, and as we know now, he's carrying out a whole life sentence. However, Coggins and associates were soon after arrested by police who had gained access to the messages sent by the men on the EncroChat network. Vincent Coggins, Edward Jarvis and Paul Woodford are now serving out long prison sentences. Donovan and his associates, who were storing drug money at a garage in South Liverpool, were arrested as part of the same police operation. Former Chester footballer James Vaughan, Donovan's brother-in-law, was also a member of the drugs gang, and following his arrest, Vaughan fled to Spain, where he was tracked down by the NC and extradited back to the UK. Christopher Roper, who worked at a car centre, helped the gang store dirty cash at the garage in return for a fee. Paul Duncan and Kenneth Keane were used to drop cash off at the garage. However, the organised crime group was smashed when police penetrated the EncroChat network, which Donovan and his pals used to communicate. The phones, which cost around £1,500 per month, were assumed to be beyond the reach of police and other agencies. However, the hack allowed detectives to read the messages sent by all Encro users. The manufacturer sent out warning messages to all their customers, urging them to bin their phones, but by then it was too late. When police raided Donovan's Liverpool home, they found it was defended with reinforced doors, and a digital review of Donovan's device revealed images of spreadsheets detailing money owed by and to him, as well as multiple messages indicating the scale of the cash collection and his interest in the packaging of money. discussions with organised crime groups. He asked for any news on far ones, which are container ships transporting coke, and haggled over the price of bots and tops, referred to kilo quantities of heroin and coke. In January, he admitted to supplying over 23.7 kilos of coke and laundering between 10 to 13 million pounds in cash. So Donovan, he was sentenced to 14 years and 6 months imprisonment after he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to supply controlled drug, a Class A, and 1 count of entering into and becoming concerned in the money laundering arrangement. During Donovan's sentencing, Manchester Crown Court heard he had suffered with PTSD and anxiety following the death of Mr. Doyle. Vaughan was sentenced to 4 years and 3 months imprisonment after he admitted 1 count of entering or becoming concerned in a money laundering operation. Gary Cathcart, the head of financial investigation at the NCA, said Donovan is a dangerous individual who returned to criminality as soon as he left prison. NCA officers painstakingly combed through EncroChat messages to identify him and his co-conspirators, proving the extent of their involvement in both money laundering and drug trafficking. Said these crimes ruin lives and destroy communities, and the NCA, alongside our partners here in the UK and abroad, will pursue every angle to ensure that those who commit them face the justice. Paula Lloyd, the specialist prosecutor for the CPS, said despite their efforts to evade detection, the overwhelming evidence against each defendant meant they had little choice but to admit their involvement. Together, this group attempted to launder millions of pounds made from the sale of illegal drugs and enjoy the profits from this harmful trade which ruined lives and communities. The CPS worked closely and effectively with law enforcement partners to dismantle the organised crime group by building a strong case and building justice. We were pursuing confiscation proceedings against the defendants to recover all of their ill-gotten gain. So guys, this is a news story coming in today where a man who helped the Heighton firm liaise with a dad and son suspected of robbing £1 million worth of coke from a stash house has been jailed for 14 and a half years for his role as a leading player in an ambitious £10 million money laundering scheme. Once again, if you already haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Please give this video a little like and also drop a comment below. Once again, big respect going out to each and every one of you. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked. Keep it real.